And good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Ultimate Dirt TV for what is another round of the Mountain View Plumbing Pro Late Models here tonight at the Knoxville Raceway. The sprint car capital of the world plays host to round number 6, presented by Northwest Racing Association. Good evening, race fans. Brett Wheeler with you for the call as we get set for a field of 29 drivers who are signed into the sprint car capital of the world. After qualifying, after it was all said and done, Dylan Wilson is the man that goes quick time here tonight, and well, I get the feeling that we're about to see another inversion coming out for your Mountain View Plumbing Pro Late Model Series. Again, I want to welcome everybody live to Ultimate Dirt TV, and we're live across the social media pages and platforms as we get set for what is another week, another great action following the Mountain View Plumbing Pro Late Model Series. Let's take a look at your starting lineup for what is heat race number 1 of 3 as it stands. Before we get into the inversion, Dylan Wilson going to start on pole on the outside of the front row. Jason Salter lines up at a position number 2. Position number 3 will be Bo Krebs. Position number 4, it'll be Cameron Kaysen. Position number 5, it's going to be the 99 of Tristan Sykes. From position number 6, Tyler Burrow in car number 35. Position number 7 with the 23 of Thomas Vickers. From 8 to 48 of Scott Fritz. From 9 the 23 of Andrew Olson. From 10 the 26 of Kevin Brown. I can tell you, well, Dylan Wilson again for the 4th time this season. He has decided to take the money and he is going to invert the top 4. So now Dylan Wilson is going to start from the outside of the second row, which means Cameron Kaysen, Bo Krebs, to the green flag we go. Evening, afternoon, senior. How are you, buddy? We're green flag action down into turn number 1 and 2. Wilson right around the outside of a teammate of Jason Salter. Now here comes Tyler Burrow in car number 35. Meanwhile, Krebs trying to come after your race leader as they work off for turn number 4. Meanwhile, back there into position number 4 goes that 35 machine. The TAC 3 defends. Victory Lane Racing entry of Tyler Burrow. Here comes the Majula C Speed Shop CFM Esports. Scott Fritz, number 48 car. He'll find his way to position number 5 as he gets around the outside of Jason Salter. Meanwhile, just like that, 2 laps into the books here at the Knoxville Raceway in heat race number 1 sees Cameron Kaysen, courtesy of that inversion, thanks to Dylan Wilson. He's leading from the pole. Here comes Bo Krebs, going to dive it down to the inside, down into turn number 3. No. Cameron Kaysen still holds on to the pole position and the race lead. But again, Krebs going to find it back on the inside in the middle of turn number 1 and 2. They go past the Brian Clausen Sweet Tower into turn number 3 and 4. We're a lap away from half race distance here in the opening heat race of the night. And just the 3 heat races here from the Knoxville Raceway. Dylan Wilson all over the rear bumper of Bo Krebs as they work through turn number 1 and 2. Tyler Burrow back there in position number 4. Got some 3/10 of a second back to Scott Fritz, Jason Salter, Tristan Sykes, Kevin Brown, Thomas Vickers, and Andrew Olson. Your top 10, the challengers on now for the runner-up spot. Here comes Wilson to the inside, down into turn number 1 and 2. He'll slide it up right in front of the 168 car. So move Dylan Wilson, your fastest qualifier here tonight with the inversion, has taken the money. He moves to position number 2. Krebs catches the infield berm as they were working in turn number 3. And now here comes Dylan Wilson in car number 80, closing in on the rear bumper of that 18 machine of Cameron Kaysen. Cameron Kaysen, you better be up on your game. You better be up on the wheel. You better be prepared to what's going to come here in the next 3 laps. There is going to be an onslaught and a whole bunch of pressure coming from that 80 machine of Dylan Wilson. Tyler Burrow closing in on 3rd place driver Bo Krebs in the 168 machine just to the very right of your screen as they work down through the 3rd and 4th turn. 2 laps left to run, 1 mile around the Knoxville Raceway. Sees Cameron Casey, your race leader. Go to the bottom side, down into turn number 1. He'll slide at mid-track just below the marbles. Meanwhile, below the marbles, right through the middle, went Dylan Wilson all the way around through 1 and 2. He'll do the same down into 3 and 4. Casey both going to run. Cameron and Wilson, very identical lines, I should say. The white flag is out. 1 lap left to go. Casey should have enough to hold on. Not unless Dylan Wilson finds a rear nose up on the inside of Cameron Casey. As they work down into 3 and 4, they'll work it side by side as they work down the front straight away. Checkered flag is out. Give it to Cameron Casey. Casey just holding on to a heat race victory here tonight. He gets the job done in heat race number 1. And a reminder that the top 4 will go through to the A main event here in the Mountain View Plumbing Pro Late Model Series presented by Northwest Racing Association. Round number 6. Let's take a look at those official results. Waiting for them to come up on screen. And here they are coming up right now. Before we get into heat race number 2, Cameron Casey, Dylan Wilson, Bo Krebs and Tyler Burrow will lock themselves into tonight's A main event. For Scott Fritz, Jason Solder, Tristan Sykes, Thomas Vickers, Kevin Brow, Andrew Olsett off to a B main. They go. Heat number 2 lining up like this. Substitute driver driving the 32 machine. I believe he's the substitute driver for Connor New. He will line up out of position number 1. Anthony Roselli will start from position number 2. Colton Zimmer lines up at a position number 3. Matt George in the 23 from 4. From 5, it's the 10D of Dustin Price. From 6 to 159 of Bowden Brandt. From position number 7, the 26 of Matt Fletcher. From 8, the 11 of Shane Yates. From 9, the 34 car, of Jared Simmons. And from 10, it's the 24 of Dustin Glenn. So Christopher Joy now going to start alongside Anthony Roselli in that second row, which means Colton Zimmer on the outside of the front row. Matt George, well, he is your pole sitter. Matt George in car number 23. He's going to lead us to the green flag as we are underway. Heat race number 2. So we're going through the points later on because there's a lot to dissect. Here's we get into what is round number 7. Sorry, round 6 of 10. It's going to be Matt George leading the way from Colton Zimmer. Christopher Joyce, substitute driver for Connor New. Here this evening here at the Knoxville Raceway, he had Chris Ferguson on Monday night in the Super Late Models. I think he done a nice job too, by the way. I think he finished top 5 in the main event. I'd have to go back and have a look at the results, but he done quite a stellar job for the Connor New substitute driver as Matt George and Colton Zimmer. Zimmer now going to go for the slider into turn number 1 and 2. Here's an opportunity for George to cut back to the inside on Colton Zimmer as they work up for turn number 2. Yellow is out. And well, that's going to be saving grace there for Matt George. Let's take a look at the instant replay. What happened here with Matt Fletcher in car number 26. Just come together there with Shane Yates in the 11, and which all stemmed from the front straightaway. Just there was that initial contact between the pair. Just looked like hard racing. So Fletcher goes around. Shane Yates also will be at the tail end of the field. All right, let's have a look at points with the drops. And then let's have a look at the points without the drops. Now, you guys aren't going to see this just yet, but what I will do, so without the drops, Connor New coming into tonight after week number 5, after the halfway point of the season. All right, let's have a look at this one. Connor New, 564 points. Colton Zimmer, 501. Lyndon Whitfield, Hayden Tolson, and Cameron Casey. Dylan Wilson, Scott Fritz, Bo Krebs, Tristan Sykes, and Tyler Burrow. Nearly half of those drivers were in heat race number 1. Burrow, Sykes, Krebs, Fritz, Wilson, Kaysen. That was 6 drivers. Basically 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th. So, back to the green. Again, we'll talk about the point situation more during the warm-up session as we're back underway. with Matt George in the 23 car. Leading the way, he'll slide up across the nose of the 20 metres, which means Colton Zimmer now goes back to the inside. Meanwhile, Bowden Brand in the 159 car goes to the outside, now goes middle as Christopher Joy tries to make a move as they make a bit of contact. In fact, it was Brandt and George who made contact there on the exit of turn number 4, but lap number 5 is into the books here at the Knoxville Raceway. George got some company with Joy in the middle of turn number 1 and 2. Here comes Bowden Brett with a run on the outside. Anthony Roselli, Dustin Price right there into positions number 5 and 6, and your top 6 cars have broken away from the rest of the field. Brandt and Joy. Brandt had third at the line by half a car length. Brandt tries to slide up, but Matt George in the 23 car goes back to the outside as they drag race down into turn number 3. Brandt now going to slide up. Meanwhile, Price is behind Christopher Joy, trying to make the move into position number 5 on Anthony Roselli, but Roselli worked back around the outside. Now you battle on for the minor placings as second and third. Now here comes fourth place driver of Christopher Joy. Joy to the outside on Matt George into turn number 3 and 4. George going to slide it up. Joy has to back out of the throttle and just tuck in behind that 23 car, but it's the 32. Meanwhile, challenge about to come for the race lead. The 159 entry of Bowden Brad coming after Colton Zimmy in top 4. Just got clear there of 5th and 6th, who seem to be still battling side by side. Dustin Price catches the infield boom on the entry into turn number 3, and Roselli moves back to the outside. White flag is out. 1 lap left to go for Colton Zimmer, the R-Racing Champions League specialist. Works his way down the back straightaway into turn number 3. Off for turn number 4 here in just a few moments' time. Checkered flag coming out. Heat race number 2 is done in the books. And just like that, Colton Zimmer now gets to start on the outside of the front row alongside Cameron Kaysen. Heat race number 2 results like this. Colton Zimmer gets the win. Bowden Brandt home in second. Matt George third. Christopher Joyce substitute for Connor New. We'll get that fourth and final transfer spot. Roselli, Price, Fletcher, Glenn, Yates and Simmons all to the B-main as we get set for what is the third and final heat race of the night. And it'll look like this. Lyndon Whitfield in the 21 to start alongside Hayden Tolleson. Again, those drivers third and fourth in the point standings. Row number 2, which will in course now be a front row of Paul Savino in the 8th, and alongside him is Jesse Wall in the 2 machine. Row number 3 will be Austin Good and Dale Farnes to come from positions number 5 and 6. From position number 7 with the 98 car of Michael Kennedy to the outside, Jason Dillon, car number 97. And your 5th and final row, Scooter Black in the 5 lines up out of position number 9 and in car number 7. From position number 10, it is Caleb Durgan. So they just wait for the safety car. The lights, I'm assuming they're still going to be out, so we should be getting ready to go green here off turn number 4. Lyndon Whitfield, Hayden Tolleson will go back a row. Just seen Colton Zimmer get the win in what was heat race number 2. And your third and final heat race of the night is underway. And it will be Jesse Wall in car number 2 to the race lead. Keep an eye on Lyndon Whitfield in that 21 car, along with Hayden Tolleson in the 327 car. They find themselves right there. Second and fourth position. Whitfield to the inside on Paul Savino as they work down into turn number 1. 27 car of Dale Farnes now on the outside looking in, trying to put himself inside the top 4. And that's going to be the magical number here this evening. We'll still have 2B mains to come as well, which we contested over 15 laps. Savino and Whitfield. Whitfield probably, well, there's only about 5 or 6 1,000ths of a second separated. Paul Savino in the 8 machine and the 21 car of Lyndon Whitfield. Jesse Wall continues to lead the way at the end of the completion of that third lap. Dale Farnes in that 37 in the 27 car. Here comes Caleb Durgan from the back of the bus. Starter position number 10 has found his way to position number 6, and that's 7 car. Gee, it looks real fast at the minute as it continues to turn lap times just as quick as your race leader is. So here comes Durgan. In fact, one of the fastest cars on the racetrack. He's nearly turned the best lap of the race, but out in front is Jesse Wall with an 18.069. He'd done that there on the previous lap. Durgan goes to the inside of Farnes as they race down the front straightaway, just like that. Cross flag sticks are out, 5 down and 5 to run, 3 wide in the middle of 1 and 2. Oh boy, look out, Farnes, Whitfield and Durgan. Durgan going to go around, as does Farnes. Will go yellow. Scooter Black caught up in that one as well. Just a case of nowhere to go for the 5 car. But a replay coming up on screen. Again, we'll leave that decision for race control. So Durgan back to the pit. Scooter Black back in the pit area. You can see Caleb Durgan coming back out onto the raceway right now. So let's go through points standings again. Now that was I was just talking about. Connor New, Colton Zimmer, Lyndon Whitfield, your top 3 in the points. Hayden Tolleson and Cameron Case in your top 5. Now keep in mind that's without the drop weeks. With the drop weeks. Connor New still your leader, from Dylan Wilson, Lyndon Whitfield, Colton Zimmer, and Thomas Vick is your top 5. I can tell you there is 59 points separating your top 10. That's with the drop weeks. Without the drop weeks, it is a 145 point gap. That's without the drop weeks. Now, Connor New has had 4 wins on the season. And just think, we're in round number 6. So there's been 1 other winner so far. Connor New is technically not here tonight, but he does have the substitute driver in Christopher Joy, who is going to have to do it the hard way, mind you. He's going to have to come from what is position number 13 it was? No. Yeah, 13. No. 4 3s to 12, so 12's locking into the show. He's going to start 9th. Middle of the pack, but middle of 3 and 4 we go, and the 2 car of Jesse Wall says, all right, boys, let's go back racing. Lyndon Whitfield to the inside on Paul Savino once again, as it's going to be Savino keeping on the 15 car of Austin Good, so both Dale Farnes and Caleb Durgan, they went to the tail end of the field on that exchange. Durgan's already been through this field already once. How far can he get up in that number 7 machine? It might be too little too late, as it took him probably 6 laps, 4, 5, 6 laps to get up to battle for that transfer position. 2 to run for your race leader of Jesse Wall as they work down into turn number 1 and 2. They'll come past the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum. Down the back straight away. The white flag getting ready to be displayed here at the Knoxville Raceway. Jesse Wall, your race leader. Just by a couple of tenths of a second. Back to Hayden Tolleson. Tolleson, time running out in that Majula C Speed Shop CFM number 327 car. As for the final time in heat race number 3, for the final time in heat racing action, it's going to be Jesse Wall to claim victory here in heat race number 3. So heat race number 3 done and dusted for the night. Now we'll get ready to see 2B mains on the program. Let's take a look at heat race number 3 results before we take a look at your first of the 2B mains. Jesse Wall, Hayden Tolleson, Paul Savino, Lyndon Whitfield going to the show. Austin Good, Michael Kennedy, Dale Farnes, Jason Dill, Scooter Black, Caleb Durgan. Again, those drivers going to a B main. And the first of 2B mains on the program, 15 laps. Top 6 is going to go through as we get ready for what is B main number 1 here up first. Scott Fritz lines up on pole position. On the outside of the front row will be the 15 car of Austin Good from position number 2. Position number 3 will be the 10D of Dustin Price from position number 4, the 99 of Tristan Sykes. From position number 10 in car number 27, that's Dale Farnes. From 6 in car 24, that is Dustin Glenn. From 7, it's Kevin Brow in car number 26. From 8, it's the 5 of Scooter Black. And from 9, it's the 34 car of Jared Simmons. Pace car is off the raceway. We are coming to the green flag in B main number 1. And off we go. Scott Fritz going to lead the way. Back to the 10 car of Dustin Price. Top 6 is going to be the magic number once again. G. Dale Farnes again. He had trouble earlier on in his heat race about catching that infield berm. But for now, he sits into position number 5. Fritz, your race leader. Dustin Price in second. Austin Good third. Tristan Sykes nearly into the rear bumper of that 15 car of Austin Good. So Sykes in the 99 car back to position number 4. Rounds out your top 5. Goes the 27 entry of Dale Farnes. But here comes Kevin Brow in that 26 entry. Again, he's got the ticket to the final transfer position. Dustin Glenn, Scooter Black, Jared Simmons there are the drivers on the outside looking in, and that are about to have their Knoxville Raceway Mountain View Plumbing Pro Late Model round number 6 night be ended after a B main. And just like that, we complete lap number 4. Still 11 laps to run. Here at the Knoxville Raceway, Fritz going to send it upstairs. Right through the marbles of turn number 1. Cuts it below the marbles off turn number 2. So a little bit of a cutback line for the 48 car of Scott Fritz, your race leader. Watching the 10 car of Dustin Price in that 10D machine. He's got a nice little gap between himself and Scott Fritz, your race leader. And almost a similar sort of gap back to third place driver of Austin Good. And, well, speaking of Austin Good, he's got Tristan Sykes in the 99 machine. Here comes Kevin Brow trying to make a move on the 27 entry of Dale Farnes in 3 and 4. So closing in on half race distance here at the Knoxville Raceway. And what is week number 6 of the Mountain View Plumbing Pro Late Model Series presented by Northwest Racing Association. Good, Sykes, side by side. Sykes on the outside. Austin Good will run that slider line down into turn number 1 and 2. Where does Tristan Sykes go? He finds some speed just to catch up to that 15 car of Austin Good. Now he goes down to the inside once again into turn number 3 and 4, but it's going to be Austin Good with that run. Now look at Dale Farnes in the 27 machine. So your top 6 have just got themselves a little bit of a gap. There's about a second between Kevin Brow in 6th and Dustin Glenn in 7th. And at this stage, geez, if I'm Kevin Brow, I'm thinking, you know what? I've got the 6th and final transfer position. Yeah, I'd love to start further up in this field, but you look at the big picture right now. If you're inside the top 6, you just go, you know what? That's okay. I'm just going to ride around for the moment. I might even just stay in that 6th and final transfer position. He was just struggling to get by the 27 entry of Dale Farnes in position number 5. And there's only 5. Well, there's going to be 4 to run right now for the race leader of that number 48 machine piloting his way from that pole position so far, leading the first 11 of 15. Price has got just a couple of car lengths back to the 15 entry of Austin Good, who's just basically nearly been pushed down the front straightaway by the 99X car of Tristan Sykes. He showed some good speed here tonight. Is the 99 car of Tristan Sykes. So don't forget, we've got B main number 2 to come up after this one. But we've only got 2 laps left to run for your race leader, Scott Fritz, in that 48 machine. He's already headed down into turn number 3. So again, just to look at confirmation on the timing and scoring there. From top to bottom, Scott Fritz, your race leader with 1 lap left to run. Dustin Price, Austin Good, your top 3. Tristan Sykes, Dale Farnes, Kevin Brow, your top 6. Scooter Black in 7th, Dustin Glenn, along with Jared Simmons. So 7th, 8th and 9th is going to miss the show. Speaking of not missing the show, or not wanting to miss the show, is the 48 car, Scott Fritz. He gets the win in B main number 1. So result is Scott Fritz, Dustin Price, Austin Good, Tristan Sykes, Dale Vardas, Kevin Brown going through to the main event. Scooter Black, Dustin Glenn, Jared Simmons. Unfortunately, they will miss out in tonight's A-main. B-main number 2, Anthony Roselli in the 7 from position number 1. From 2, it's the 10 of Jason Salter. From 3, the 98 to Michael Kennedy. From 4, the 26 of Matt Fletcher. From 5, the 23 of Thomas Vickers. From 6, the 97 of Jason Dill. From 7, the 11 of Shane Yates. From 8, the 23 of Andrew Olsen. And from 9, the 7 of Caleb Durgan. I'll be right back. Alright, we're just taking some medicine, so I'm not feeling all that well. But well enough to call a second B-main here at the Knoxville Raceway. Anthony Roselli brings us back to racing conditions, and look at this, 2 and nearly 3 wide through turn number 1 and 2. Now we go 3 wide there in the exit of turn number 2. Look out, Thomas Vickers in the 23 car as he goes down to the inside of Michael Kennedy as they work in the middle of 3 and 4. Kennedy sweeps back around the outside. Keep an eye on that battle for that 6th and final transfer position. They're 3 wide down into 1 and 2. Durgan to the inside of Yates and Fletcher. Fletcher stuck in the mid-track, but he's on the top of the race. He's on the top of a 3-wide battle. Now it just singles out there as double file as Jason Dill, Shane Yates come together on the entry down into turn number 3. Your leader is Anthony Roselli over Jason Salter. And Salter is closing in. Well, I tell you what, that T1RT car looks pretty quick at the moment here in B-main number 2. Caleb Durgan, speaking of looking quick, Durgan through a Hail Mary and a speculator on the 23 car of Thomas Vickers. Meanwhile, trying to throw the speculator on there for your race leader. Well, for the race leader, I should say, is Jason Salter on Anthony Roselli. Now here comes Michael Kennedy to the inside. Your race for 2nd and 3rd is on in the middle of 1 and 2. So continuing to turn laps in the mid 18-second bracket. Best lap time so far in the B-main number 2 is an 18.314. Comes from that 7 entry of Caleb Durgan. And again, it's your top 6 in this one that has just broken away. Shane Yates trying to close in, but you've got a 3-way dance up near the front of the field. The 7 of Anthony Roselli, your race leader, from the 10 of Jason Salter in 2nd. Going to get relegated to the 3rd by the 98 entry of Michael Kennedy. But again, it's Salter and Kennedy who just find themselves working side by side. Look out, here comes Caleb Durgan. Now, gee, that 7 is ripping the lip around the Knoxville Raceway. He thinks about trying to make it 3 wide, just gets caught into the guardrail, has to check up. Thomas Vickers now goes to the outside. Slider from Durgan on Vickers, and Vickers quickly sees it coming, so he turns it back underneath him. And that Speed Ranch number 23 machine finding his way to position number 4, but not without the challenges once again from that 7 car of Caleb Durgan. He was quick in his heat race, going from 10th to battle for a transfer position before just getting stuck together with another driver, which meant that he had to come from the B-main. And right now he is doing that one. Vickers slides up, Durgan goes back down to the inside, and just like that we are 10 laps in of this 15-lap journey here at the Knoxville Raceway. And right now the battle between Thomas Vickers and Caleb Durgan. Remember, we look at the points, Vickers not inside the top 10, neither is Caleb Durgan. And in fact, no one that I can think of or see in this one is inside the top 10. We go 3 wide in the middle of 3 and 4. 3 wide down through turn number 1. Durgan with a slider on Vickers. Salter back around the outside of both Vickers and Durgan. This time it's Thomas Vickers' time to throw the move there. 26 of Matt Fletcher caught the infield berm. And now there goes Shane Yates. They come together. The 97 of Jason Dill trying to move forward here with just 2 laps left to run, or 2.5, I should say. First, second, third, fourth, and fifth on screen. You could really throw a blanket over them. Nose to tail as they work down in the front straight away, and just like that, they go nose to tail, 5 car deep. Now they go 3 wide. Durgan trying to dig it deep and sell it cheap. On the inside of Jason Salter. It is all Anthony Roselli out in front at the moment. He has got 1 lap left to go to record a B-main victory here in the Mountain View Plumbing Pro Late Model Series presented by Northwest Racing Association. They head off down into 3 and 4 for the final time. They get a little close to one another, but somehow they keep it off each other. And going to the show, the battle is on for the transfer, the final transfer position. It was very close at the line between Shane Yates and Jason Dill. Let's have a look at those finishing results as they come up on your screen. Anthony Roselli gets the win from Michael Kennedy. Jason Salter, your top 3. Thomas Vickers, Caleb Durgan, your top 5. Shane Yates just holding on to position number 5 by just over a tenth of a second. Back to Jason Dill, Andrew Olsen, and Matt Fletcher. We get set to take a quick break here on Ultimate Dirt TV. We'll come back, we'll pay some bills. You're watching the Mountain View Plumbing Pro Late Models live here on Ultimate Dirt TV.
iRacing is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racing enthusiasts all around the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. The car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics, engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and racing teams. Our skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly racing series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 200,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsports organizations like NASCAR to deliver virtual races based on the real-life NASCAR Cup Series, as well as many other series on the NASCAR ladder. iRacing also features team racing, providing a variety of options for members to create and manage their own teams, race with friends or real-world teammates in full-length endurance events like the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, or the Bathurst 12-Hour. Participate in solo races, championship seasons, and hosted and league events with AI Racing. With a rapidly expanding catalog of 70-plus cars and 85-plus tracks from real-world racing series, test your abilities with challenging computer-based competition. Additional partners include IMSA, the World of Outlaws, and Supercars, allowing members to participate in their very own Bathurst 1000, Chili Bowl, Sebring 12-Hour, and many more iconic events. This is iRacing, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car. Sign up today at iRacing.com.
And we are back here on Ultimate Dirt TV, coverage of the Mountain View Plumbing Pro Late Model Series here tonight from the Knoxville Raceway, the sprint car capital of the world, presented by Northwest Racing Association. Good evening, race fans. Brett Wheeler with you for tonight's main event call as we get set to take a look at your 24 drivers in tonight's 40-lap feature event. Well, on the pole, courtesy of the inversion from the opening heat race of the night, it's the 18 entry of Cameron Case, and he'll start from position number 1. To the outside of the front row from position number 2, we count number 20 of Colton Zimmer. From position number 3, car number 2, that'll be Jesse Wall. From position number 4, piloting the 80 machine, that is Dylan Wilson. Position number 5 will be the 159 entry of Bowden Brent. From position number 6, the 327 of Hayden Tolleson. It's not going to make any sense because you guys can't see that. There we go. So there's your first row. We'll get to row, we're up to row 4, but there's row 2. That is row 3 with Bowden Brandt, Hayden Tolleson. Row 4 is going to be Bo Krebs and Matt George. Row number 5 is Paul Savino alongside Tyler Burrow. Row number 6, Christopher Joy alongside him is Lyndon Whitfield. Row 7, your B-main winners, Scott Fritz and Anthony Roselli. Row number 8, Dustin Price and Michael Kennedy. Row number 9, Austin Good and Jason Salter. Row number 10, Tristan Sykes and Thomas Vickers. Row 11, Dale Farnes alongside Caleb Durgan. And row 12, Kevin Brown and Shane Yates. Round number 6 of the Mountain View Plumbing Pro Late Model Series presented by Northwest Racing Association. The lights are out on the racing.com pace truck. We are ready for a start of turn number 4. Who will it be? Let's find out. As they put 40 laps on the lap counter. So they work in the middle of turn number 3 and 4. Let's get naughty for 40 here in tonight's main event. And just like that, that inside row gets a good start. Jesse Wall coming up the Cameron Case, and Wall started in that second row on the inside, so he's quickly moved to position number 2. Meanwhile, Bowden Brand going from the third row has found himself moving into position number 3 at the start-finish line. Wilson got Bo Krebs on the inside. Now he's got Colton Zero on the outside. 3 wide for 4th, 5th, and 6th position. Krebs got to be careful not to get left behind on the low side of the racetrack by the cars working the middle and the top side of the raceway. Just like that, we complete lap number 2. It's still Cameron Cason who has led 10 laps of the heat race, not without the company, with Dylan Wilson in that opening heat race of the night. But now Jesse Wall looking to close in. Paul Savino comes to the outside of the 327 car of Hayden Tolleson as they work 3 wide down the front straightaway. Keep an eye on that D1RT number 80 machine as they work off for turn number 2. We know that 80 car knows how to find the front of the field, whether it's at the start, whether it's through the middle of the race, or whether it is going to be at the back of tonight's main event. Bo Krebs, Colton Zimmer. Geez, you can only split them by probably a nose hair or 2 at the start-finish line. You really can't split them down into turn number 3. Oh, I'm going to give it to Bo Krebs as Krebs just continues to work the inside of the raceway. Here comes Zimmer with a run on the outside. Again, it's too close to call. The only way to call that one would be to throw a yellow and see who gets to restart in front of the other driver. Jesse Wall just 0.2 of a second back to your race leader, Cameron Cason. Similar gap back to third place driver, the 159 entry of Bowden Brandt. Meanwhile, Dylan Wilson now again coming after Bo Krebs and Colton Zimmer, trying to move his way into a top 5. Paul Savino back there in 7th. Christopher Joy, substitute driver again for Connor New. Here this evening, back there into position number 8, Lyndon Whitfield, Hayden Tolleson make up your top 10 as they go 3 wide there for that 8th, 9th, and 10th position. Up to the top of the racetrack in 1 and 2 goes that 80 car of Dylan Wilson. I said about 4 or 5 laps ago, Krebs has got to be careful not to get left for dry and hung out to dry. Using the low side of the racetrack. Slowly but surely, that outside of that middle groove is working for the drivers. But right there you see Bo Krebs still trying to contribute on the inside of the speedway. Trying to be very consistent down there. Still making it work, but it's going to be the run of Dylan Wilson, who has now found his way to position number 5. Cason still your race leader from Jesse Wall. Bowden Brett, I'm sure one of these 2 drivers would love to come to victory lane. Christopher Joy, the substitute driver for Connor New, who has picked up 4 of the 5 feature wins this season. I'm sure Connor New would love to see Christopher Joy put that 32 car on the top step, 3 wide. Zimmer and Bowden Brandt made contact on the exit of turn number 2. Meanwhile, it was Dylan Wilson, who again is no stranger to the big races here at the Knoxville Raceway, and putting that 80 machine up the front. Right now, just biding his time for the moment as they continue to work over and complete lap number 11. Kaysen, still your race leader. 2.5 tenths of a second back to Jesse Wall. And again, it's about 3 to 4 tenths of a second back to the 159 entry of Bowden Brand, who I'm going to say showed some very good promise in his heat race earlier on in the evening. Just to the right of your screen, you still see Colton Zimmer, Dylan Wilson battling out for positions number 4 and 5. There's Bo Krebs and Paul Savino going at it for 6th and 7th. Back to Christopher Joy in 8th. 9th is Lyndon Whitfield. Rounding out your top 10 is Hayden Tolleson. Matt George in 11th. Dustin Price, Jason Salter, Thomas Vickers. And then Tyler Burrow, your top 15 drivers. So TB, Tyler Burrow. Trying to move his way forward in tonight's feature event. Salter and Price. As they continue here at the Knoxville Raceway. And just like that, folks, we're already 15 laps into this 40-lap main event, so we're only 5 away from half race distance. Wilson, Zimmer again will go at it for 4th and 5th as they come after the 159 entry of Bowden Brandt. Nearly 3 wide in the middle of 3 and 4, but Bowden Brandt has got the preferred line. Wilson has 4th at the start line, and that could be big if we see the caution flag come out. So far, 16 green flag laps is in the books here at the Knoxville Raceway. We could make it 17 once we get past the start-finish line. And your top 5 are on screen. They've just broken away again for probably the last 6 or 7 laps away from 6th place driver Bo Krebs, who again, just looking to your right of your screen, he was still working that inside of the racetrack, keeping the left front close as he can to the infield berm. Your top 4 run the middle slider line through 3 and 4. Meanwhile, Wilson, he runs his own little slider line from the bottom to the middle. He'll do the same through turn number 1 and 2. In fact, not quite through the middle, but just below that middle line on the exit of turn number 2. So coming to complete lap number 18, make it lap number 19. 1 lap away from half race distance. Wilson down to the low side once again through turn number 1 and 2. Back to Colton Zimmer, who again has got the run on the outside. Again, we appreciate all the support here on Ultimate Dirt TV in watching the Mountain View Plumbing Pro Late Model Series presented by Northwest Racing Association. Brent, we're halfway home now. Cameron Kaysen, 20 down and 20 to go. And the 30 laps that he's done here tonight, he has led all 30 laps, and not a bad way considering that, well, he was probably, I think, 12th in qualifying. And with Dylan Wilson taking the money, opting to invert the first 2 rows, so the top 4 positions in all 3 heat races. He's done it 2 out of the last 3 weeks here in competition. Problems for Bowden Brandt as well. He's got some issues, and that's going to take him out of the top 5. No, it doesn't. He comes back, and boy, he was very, very lucky, because if they had completed that lap, timing and scoring might have scored things just a little differently, but the only way to sort of fix that one would be to wait for the caution flag to come out. Otherwise, you'd have to fix it at the end of the event. Wilson had 4th at the line by a front bumper over Colton Zimmer, but again, Zimmer works it back to the outside. Gee, a good race up front for your first 5 drivers at the minute, your top 5 positions. It's still going on right there for 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th position. Let's go back and look at something different. So watch the 21 car of Lyndon Whitfield battle it out with Bo Krebs in the 168 machine, who again just caught the inside berm on the entry into turn number 1. Here comes Savino on the inside of Krebs, as Krebs now unable to get to the low side, in which he's sort of been trying to perfect that running the bottom side of the raceway here at the Knoxville Raceway. 25 down and 15 to go. Krebs will go to the cushion on the entry into turn number 1, use the middle line on the exit of turn number 2. Christopher Joy against substitute driver here for Connor News. Savino with a slider on Krebs. Krebs will work that 168 machine back to the inside of the 8 as they hit the front straight away. They hit the start-finish line. Give the 7 spot there to Paul Savino, but both Krebs and Christopher Joy once again back to the inside. Challenges on for third as Dylan Wilson now coming after that 159 entry of Bowden Brandt. 13 laps left to run here in tonight's A main event as they work through 1 and 2. Kaysen and Wall, who have been the top 2 drivers so far from the get-go of this main event. Problems again for Bowden Brandt in the 159 car, who's just falling back, and I think, well, it's making it tough there for the 159 car and the cars around him. Thankfully, those mechanical issues not hurting anybody else other than that 159 car, who finds his way back to the top of the racetrack. Look out, Jesse Wall, but don't worry about Jesse Wall just yet because Dylan Wilson has found his way to position number 2. Brandt again closing in on the back of the 2 car as they work down the back straightaway, but Dylan Wilson slowly but surely coming after your race leader of Cameron Kaysen. This time by at the start-finish line. Just like that, we are 30 laps complete of this 40-lap feature event, which means 10 laps away. That's only a heat race distance here at the Knoxville Raceway. Once again, Pastor Brian Clausen, Sweet Tail for the 31st time in tonight's A main event. Bowden Brandt again, he is driving it deep into turn number 3 and 4. He nearly tagged the back of the 80 car. He's going to do the near same thing into turn number 1 and 2. Wilson not phased by that 159 car, putting a whole lot of pressure on the rear bumper of that machine of Dylan Wilson, the D1RT entry. 8 to run for Cameron Kaysen. And just like what we've seen in heat race number 1, Wilson is going to apply the pressure to Cameron Kaysen, who's been able to set the tone, set the pace out in front, but it's that 80 machine. You go back to the start of the night. He was fastest in qualifying, took the money, decided to invert the heat races to 4. And he came in those last sort of 2 and 3 laps of the opening heat race of the night. Now he's doing it once again here in tonight's A main event, but this time he's got a few more laps to work with. And one thing that they won't have to worry about is lap traffic, because your leader is 9.5 seconds. And we're looking at 18, nearly 19 second lap time. So that is half track. So they won't get to deal with the lap cars. Here at the Knoxville Raceway, Wilson to the inside of Kaysen. They'll come off turn number 4 with 5 to run. Kaysen driving it deep into the top side of the racetrack, right up near the guardrail. Dylan Wilson on the inside. Cameron Kaysen still to the race lead. They were rubbing on each other down into turn number 1. Wilson and Kaysen, the drivers that finished first and second in heat race number 1. But it was Cameron Kaysen who got the better of that battle in the opening heat of the night. But there goes, for the first time, somebody else other than Cameron Kaysen has led a lap in tonight's A main event. Dylan Wilson led lap number 36, and we know there's only 4. There is about to be 3 to run, so 1.5 miles around the Knoxville Raceway. Sprint car, capital of the world, playing host to the Pro Late Models. Dylan Wilson just at the line by a front bump, but probably by about 26, 27 1,000th of a second. It's going to be Dylan Wilson, Cameron Kaysen, Bowden Brandt, your top 3. How will it shake out here in the final 2 laps? 2 to run. Can we have it? A green to checker race here at the Knoxville Raceway. Oh boy, here comes Cameron Kaysen again with a run on the outside. He's got the lead back down into turn number 3 and 4. Trying to shut the door there on Dylan Wilson. White flag coming out. If they get to turn 1 and 2 past the start-finish line, we're going to race it out to the end. Round number 6 of the Mountain View Plumbing Pro Late Model Series presented by Northwest Racing Association. Cameron Kaysen, Dylan Wilson, back straight away for the final time down into 3 and 4. They run. Kaysen and Wilson, did they touch down into turn number 3? Off turn number 4, who's it going to be? It's a drag race to the line. Oh my God, Dylan Wilson and Cameron Kaysen. I can tell you right now, 17 1,000ths of a second. 17 1,000ths of a second is all that separates either Cameron Kaysen or Dylan Wilson. I know the result. I'm not going to tell you just yet. 40 green flag laps. A race that goes green to checker. And the Mountain View Plumbing Pro late models here at Knoxville did not disappoint. Oh my! What a way to finish the sixth round of the series. Let's take a look right now at your official results coming up. Cameron Kaysen is your winner by 17 one-thousandths of a second over Dylan Wilson. Jesse Wall snags third at the line. Colton Zimmer will get fourth. Fifth will be Lyndon Whitfield. Christopher Joy, substitute for Connor New, here tonight in sixth position. Bo Krebs in seventh. Paul Savino, 8. Jason Salton, ninth. And rounding out your top 10 goes to Dustin Price. We look over the page, 11th through the 20th. It looks like this. Hayden Tolson in 11th. 12th was Thomas Vickers. 13th was Dale Farnes. Matt George in 14th. Scott Fritz rounds out your top 15. Tyler Burrow in 16th. 17th was Tristan Sykes. Kevin Brow in 18th. Austin Good 19th. Anthony Roselli in 20th. And the final few drivers, it'll be Shane Yates in 21st. Michael Kennedy in 22nd. Bowden Brandt scored in 23rd position. Followed by Caleb Durgan, finishing less there, or just over half of the race. He's 16 laps down in position number 24. Boy, what a way to finish off the sixth round of the series. That was phenomenal, folks. Let's go and chat to your third place driver here tonight, driving car number 2. It is Jesse Wall. Jesse, congratulations on this third place finish here tonight. And, well, probably the first half to 3/4 of that race, this 2 car was pretty spot on, but just falling back there to position number 3 and 4th there at one stage. But, mate, when it's all said and done, you come away with a third place finish. You happy with that one?
Yeah, man, that was a lot of fun. I was basically just bidding my time there at the beginning, trying to, set myself up for the end there. And, the top in 3 and 4 kind of went away a little bit there towards the end. And I just didn't find the bottom fast enough there in 3 and 4.
Sort of just a quick little debrief. You obviously only just finished, probably not 60 to 90 seconds ago. Is there something you could have done differently on the race car just to be a little bit better, or were you happy overall with the car speed that you showed here tonight?
Yeah, I was happy overall, especially after qualifying, because I don't think we managed to qualify, but like 11th or 12th or something like that. So I didn't exactly know I would have the speed that I had in the feature. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I just didn't find the bottom in 3 and 4 there quick enough there at the end. And that was the difference, man. All it takes is a couple little mistakes, and these guys are too quick to not take advantage.
Mate, still a third place finish here tonight in a race that goes green to checker here for the Mountain View Plumbing Pro late models here at the Knoxville Raceway, put on and presented by the Northwest Racing Association. Jesse, congratulations on this third place finish here tonight. Before we let you go, we'll let you thank everybody on this 2 car for making it possible for you.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I got to thank Coots Customs. He does all my wraps. Austin Good. Y'all got to check him out. And, man, you for the broadcast, and Eddie for the league. It's always a good time.
Jesse, congratulations on third place. I look forward to seeing you back next week.
Thank you, buddy.
Jesse Wall, your driver that comes home in third place here tonight. Home in second place tonight, piling in the number 80 machine, and it's 17 one-thousandths of a second. Dylan Wilson, second place, but a hell of a run, 17 one-thousandths of a second. That must have been fun.
Yeah, those are the moments, races you kind of live for in this game, so... I was pretty stoked with that one. That was a lot of fun, man. It's goes to show you what I mean, hell, I think any more fixed racing puts on the best shows. It seems like less PSI definitely makes for racier tracks. And wow, that was it kind of went one groove there at the beginning, but I knew that bottom would come in at some point, and just stuck with it and kind of watched those guys fade and fade and fade on the top, and then was able to kind of pull alongside, pass a bunch of them, and had a hell of a battle for the win there, man. It's yeah, that's why I still play, and those are the fun ones that'll keep me playing a lot longer.
It almost seems like these kind of races are few and far between sometimes, but we could also say the same thing about green to checker races. That for the second time this week, I've seen, and I'm pretty sure you've been a part of it. Another race that goes green to checker. Were you surprised with the field that we had tonight? 24 cars, 40 laps around Knoxville. Were you surprised to see that it go green to checker that way?
No, I mean, honestly, every race, I mean, with the way iRacing is and the way people can turn laps and get their stuff dialed, their driving dialed, their settings, wheels, with all of it, there really should be no reason why we should have a rash of yellows in all these races, just impatience. But it seems like it almost seems like if you get some guys that aren't like, well-known household names, they almost drive more respectful, they're not trying to squeeze you. It's just a better race product, I think. And that's nothing against, the best of the best guys. They just know how to kind of, take your line and run where you're not. And then sometimes at least a frustration, you'll go in there and door somebody or whatever, you know what I mean? But no, I mean, honestly, this field of cars is fun to race with, just like the best of the best guys are too, whenever they give a little bit of room.
I actually just lost my train of thought on where I was going to go with this. Oh, deja vu here tonight. Basically, the same thing happened in heat race number one. You took the money. You decided to invert the field. You reeled Cameron in those last sort of 2 or 3 laps in the heat race. You didn't have enough time to get it done. With about 10 to go, once you got into second, what was going through your mind there to try and track him down?
Honestly, it was more a mental game. I mean, he was playing it really well. I mean, congrats to Cameron because that was man, he had ice in his veins there the last, I don't know, 5 or 10 laps whenever he moved up to that slider line. Because I was trying to kind of keep him out wide into one, and he would do a hell of a job just staying right on my door into one. He wouldn't allow me to get into one like I wanted, and it was just a mental game, a little bit of back and forth of just trying to work the position on the track just, to my advantage. And he did a good job not allowing me any extra to try to keep him out wide. Because if I could have got him out wide, getting into one time, it probably would have been enough. It would have been too long around the top, and I probably could have squeaked out in front of him. But man, that was fun, dude. Just a mental battle, physical battle, concentrating like crazy, trying to hit your marks, trying not to spin the tires. That was a lot of fun. That was definitely top races I think I've ever ran on this game. Just with the pure two groove racing the whole time. Pretty clean. Nobody was dooring each other. Just good, clean fun.
So there was in 17 one-thousandths of a second was all that separated you and the victory. But for tonight, it'll have to be settled for a second place finish here at the Knoxville Raceway. Dylan, congratulations on this run. Before we let you go, as always, we'll let you thank everybody involved on this number 80 machine.
Yeah, I just thank the guys at D1RT. Thanks to Eddie Farnes and NWA. Thanks to you and your broadcast company and anybody else that helps. All the sponsors for all these series, everybody that steps up. It's all appreciated.
Dylan, congratulations on second place, buddy. We look forward to seeing you back next week.
All right, see you, Brett.
Dylan Wilson, the man that comes home in position number 2. We do not have our winner of Cameron Kaysen, but boy, I tell you, what a way to finish. In fact, yes, we do. We do have our winner. Here he is. Driving car number 18 gets it done by 17 one-thousandths of a second. Cameron Kaysen. Cameron, congratulations on the win. Gee, you left it right to the left to get the job done, but you lead. I think it was 37 or 38 laps of this 40-lap feature event. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, I thought I gave it away there at the end, but luckily we held them off.
With about 10 to go.
I'm glad he raced me clean.
Yeah, mate, with about 10 to go, he was reeling you in. He caught you with 5 to go. I think he led laps 35, 36, 37. It wasn't by much, and then you just continued to pester him on the outside of the raceway. What was going through your mind there on those final 5 laps when you were basically side by side with him for five laps in a row?
I thought I gave it away, honestly. I knew he was good on the bottom, and I had to hit the top perfect, that slider line. And I tried not giving him any room entering the corner, and I think it kind of messed him up. But luckily, we were able to hold him off.
What does this win mean to you and the team to come here at the Knoxville Raceway and get the win in heat race number 1, courtesy of an invert, but also the big one was getting the win in this 40-lap feature event?
It means a lot. It's been a while since I won a race, so it was fun. I'm glad we didn't have any cautions. I know that.
Of course, you take the momentum as we head into next week at the dirt track at Charlotte. How do you feel about Charlotte headed into week number 7 of the series, knowing that you've just come off a win here at the Knoxville Raceway?
I don't feel too bad. Everybody's got speed at Charlotte, so it makes it a little more difficult. But we'll see what we can do. Hopefully, run up front again.
Cameron, congratulations on the victory here tonight at the Knoxville Raceway. The Mountain View Plumbing Pro Late Models presented by Northwest Racing Association. Round number 6 of 10. Before we let you go, Cameron, we'll let you thank everybody involved on this 18 machine that makes it possible for you.
Just all the guys at CFM and you for the broadcast and Eddie for the league.
There we go, Cameron Kaysen, your winner here tonight by just 17 1,000ths of a second. Yes, you heard that right. 17 1,000ths of a second. Let's see if we can play this again. I'm just trying to figure out how many laps we have had. I think this is coming into, I want to say maybe lap 38 or 39. This is a replay, folks. In fact, look at this. The white flag is out. Look, 1 lap left to run. Kaysen had it by half a car length. This is a replay of the final lap. He leads a quarter of a car length. Half a car length going down into turn number 3. Now, we're going to try and stop this to get this working just right at the start-finish line. Let's try and time it. And that's there. Let's get a look at that. Kaysen just edging out Dylan Wilson. This was a finish for the ages. That's all that separates. And look at that. Oh, Bowden Brent was third there at the line. Not sure why he's been scored there in what was, I think, 23rd place. But anyhow, nonetheless, that will wrap us up here on Ultimate Dirt TV. Again, a big thank you to, of course, the Mountain View Plumbing Pro Late Models presented by Northwest Racing Association. Round number 6 is complete. Like I said, next week we head to the dirt track at Charlotte for what is round number 7, followed up by the Cedar Lake Speedway, Volusia Speedway Park, and playing host to the final round of the series, Lanier National Speedway, for what I think is 80 laps around that 3/8 of a mile racetrack. But more on the program for the Northwest Racing Association. Tomorrow night, it is the Bad Company Racing Pure Stocks, and they will take to the racetrack tomorrow night at the Fairbury American Legion Speedway for the short track showdown. 40 laps, Joe White and OSRN OSR Network will have the call on that one from 10 o'clock Eastern. But more for us here on Ultimate Dirt TV tomorrow night from 7 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Eastern, and 9:30 Eastern. More action live here on Ultimate Dirt TV. But until then, on behalf of the team here at Ultimate Dirt TV and the manager behind the scenes, I'm Brent Wheeler signing off, saying good night. Congratulations to Cameron Kaysen.